I know these carbs have been cleaned about every 2 years, but I'm just going to take them apart. I'm going to give them a quick clean. I'm only going to do the bottom where the bowls and the jets are, and because I think that's, you know what, it's not going to be very bad in there at all. Each float bowl has a little tiny retaining screw on it. Now it doesn't really hold the bowl on, it's just there to be more of a pain in the butt than anything. So we're just going to take those out. If you break one of these off, snap it, strip it, it's not a big deal, because you know what, we're just going to leave these off anyway. These nuts are what hold it on. I believe that's a 17 mil, but I'm just using my adjustable because it's close. Now I leave everything on separate sides and I keep everything together, so when I go to put it back together I don't mix things up. We'll remove our main jets, and I'm going to take note what size these jets are because we've done some engine mods and we're going to have to up the jet size. These are 520 mains. That's 520. Sometimes each carb will have a different size main jet, so you have to make sure you don't mix them up, or you could run one cylinder lean. That's 520 as well. Each side has a washer in it. Next we take out our pilot jet. Just use a tiny little standard screwdriver. Make sure it's as big as you can get it in there. When you hear this little noise, that right there, you know that you've unscrewed it enough. That's it. There we go. There are different carb cleaners out there, but when I soak my brass parts, like these jets, these little pilot jets, I always soak them in this power tune made by Mercury. This stuff seems to work really well. A lot of other guys use it, and I've never had an issue with it. I'm going to leave these in. I'm going to leave these in overnight. When I come back, they're going to be nice and shiny and clean. So we've let these sit overnight. Just going to pour them out here. I'll dry them off with a rag to start. And with these new fuels we have, especially ethanol, there's some pretty bad additives in there. That, you know, the varnish builds up pretty darn quick. So I either recommend to start your sled and run it a few times during the summer, or just drain the carbs completely. Now, since we've soaked these, there's going to be some residual power tune in there, who knows what else, some dirt. So I'm just going to take these over to the air compressor and blow them out. When you're using compressed air, make sure you're wearing your safety glasses. And I usually wear gloves, but I'm out of them today. So. A little bit of residual varnish in the bottom of these float bowls. I just use a little bit of carbon choke cleaner. Clean that right out. You don't want anything left in there that can plug one of your main jets or your pilot jet. You plug those jets, then you're going to start to run it lean. And if you run it lean, you're going to blow a cylinder. I don't always change out these rubbers and these bowls. These look fine. If there's some residual varnish left on here, I just use that little bit of carb cleaner and I come around them, take that varnish off, because it might affect the seal on the bottom of the carb later on. Since I've had these carbs apart in the last couple of years, I know that everything internally is fine. I'm just going to blow everything out really quickly with a little bit of compressed air. The floats really, you know, I've checked them out. They're both same level. A lot of free movement in there. Everything's fine and good to go. The installation process is basically the same in reverse. I'll just put my pilot jets in, which were both the same size. You don't want to over tighten these. They are brass, so they will strip very easily. But you want to make sure it's tight enough as well, because if they come loose, then you're going to be wondering why your sled is running so rich. Install your washers. One good thing to do before you put them in, you can eyeball it. Look, make sure you got a good clean bore down the middle of that jet. Because sometimes you've blown it out with compressed air and you know what, there's still something left in there. If these are really badly corroded or had a lot of varnish on them, green, didn't look good, I'd be replacing them. These are only $3 a piece. I'd have no problem replacing them. Don't over tighten these, you'll strip that easy. This housing is only a soft metal and the brass will strip easy as well. I'm just going to come across the surface where the float bowl mates up, just to clean that off a little bit here too. There's a little bit of varnish around the edges here. Don't let carb cleaning intimidate you. Watch these videos, go online, find out a bunch of other videos if you can. And this is pretty easy stuff. It'll save you a few $100 in the long term, a few $100 that you can put in your sled. Now there's a rubber seal in here as well. Make sure there's nothing around that. You want that to seal up really nicely, or you're going to be leaking gas into the bottom of your belly pan, and that is not a good thing. Some of these bottom nuts have a little tube that comes off them that collects water. If you get any water in your fuel, just pull those out, take a look in them. You're going to see probably a bunch of residual varnish and all kinds of gummed up stuff. Just blow that out, clean them up really well, and reinstall them. That's it. Remember that little screw that held these bowls on? You can throw that in the garbage. Now these are ready to go back on the sled. Don't let this job intimidate you. This is a pretty easy thing to do. If I can do it here at home, you can certainly do it. If you like my videos, make sure you subscribe, hit that thumbs up, keep watching. We have a lot more cool stuff coming up.